What's up, Keens? Michael A. Blunt here, executive mindset mentor and founder of the Billionaire Mindset Collective. Today, I'm reacting to Cameron exposing Dame Dash on his spending habits and breaking it down through the lens of elite performance, identity transformation, and strategic psychological reprogramming. If you're serious about upleveling your identity and 10xing your wealth and your inner world, this one's for you. Let's dive in. All right, here we go, guys.
I private for 5 years straight. Buy 2 mansions in London. You got a mansion in London just for your nick, and then a personal mansion in London for something else. I would love to have 2 lofts in Tribeca right around the corner for each other. 20,000 for this loft, 20,000 for that loft around the corner. So you got $40,000 a month for just lofts. Airfare, flying everywhere. You know, Dame, I would have loved to have the biggest mansion in Alpine, New Jersey. Dame is the only that I ever seen to this day. I'm talking about to this day, and I've been in a lot of places, and like I said, maybe I haven't been in the right places. I've never seen a with a urinal in their house yet.
Let me tell y'all something. This might be one of the most honest things Cameron ever said about Dame Dash.
Okay. Wow. So, you know, there's so many things to say about this, but from my analysis, and I haven't seen the rest of this video, this is a clear example of when your mindset doesn't match with the money. Dame Dash has made a lot of money, but he hasn't increased or expanded his mindset at the same level. So what you're seeing is a discrepancy between what he wants to do when he thinks that, you know, is the right thing for him to do because he's earned it, and where the immaturity of his mindset that is keeping him, or I should say, is reducing and completely eliminating his wealth. When you increase or you expand your mindset and you start that reprogramming, you stop spending money, you start creating opportunities for money to make more money for you. That's the difference between the rich and the wealthy. The rich are spending in order for them to feel good and continue to feel validated, because a lot of rich people didn't feel like they were good enough or worthy enough, so they want to prove to the world, hey, I'm rich now, look at me, look at the Bugatti, look at the Lambo, look at the house, look at the watch, look at all these things, look at me, I finally made it. Or somebody who's wealthy, it's not, you know, when you talk about generational wealth, that generational wealth is a mindset. And that's an identity shift. It's obvious that Dame Dash hasn't made that identity shift. And Cameron is so on point on exposing that. He's exposing it. I wish I could do all these things. I wish I could have, you know, a bidet in my bathroom and 2 lofts right around the corner from each other and a ranch and all these different things. And it doesn't even seem like he's saying that out of hate. It seems like he's saying that out of genuine love and respect. But he's like, yo, where's your mindset? Where's your identity when it comes to these things? And let's see what Dame Dash has to say about this.
And it's not hate. It's not beef. It's just the truth mixed with love.
Yeah.
Cam broke it down in a way only somebody who really knows Dame could. This ain't no outsider talking slick. This is somebody who lived it. Somebody who saw Dame at his peak, flying private for 5 years straight, buying 2 mansions in London like it was nothing, putting urinals in the crib like it's a club bathroom. And Cam is basically saying, if you're going to live like that, you got to keep hustling like that. You can't spend like a billionaire and expect to chill like a monk. And what really...
You can't spend like a billionaire with the millionaire mindset. That's really how I would reframe it. You can spend like a billionaire if you have a billionaire mindset. Because when you have the billionaire mindset, the spending that you're going to do is going to allow your assets to cover all of your liabilities, not your core means of getting funded or your core means of survival when it comes to financial success. You are covering all of those things with your investments, with things that are making money for you. So you're not tapping into you're not tapping into the core of what you made. And from all indications and the things that I'm seeing, he's tapping into everything. He's got a millionaire mindset, but he's spending like a billionaire. And that's the quickest way to lose your wealth. And that's the opposite of what I teach to my community. So let's see.
Stuck with me was the emotion in Cam's voice, because even with all the little jabs and slick comments, you can tell he still got love for Dame Dash. He said it himself. He don't let people talk crazy about Dame. But
that's exactly what I was saying. I was saying that his voice, the way that he's saying it, it's not like he's hating. He's saying this out of genuine love, but he's trying to give advice to somebody. From what I heard about Dame Dash, he doesn't accept feedback or he doesn't accept advice. He's stuck in his mindset.
At the same time, he's not going to sit there and pretend like Dame Dash hasn't made things harder for himself. Cam's not trying to take Dame's legacy away from him. Not at all. If anything, he's reminding everybody that Dame Dash is a genius. But being a genius don't mean you're always right. And sometimes when the hustle slows down and you're not making those $100 million moves like you used to, reality starts knocking loud.
What he's saying about that is when his reality slows down, because he is getting older, he needed to put himself in a situation where his assets are not only covering his liabilities, but they're also covering any future liabilities, and they're covering all of his spending habits. So when we talk about identity shifting, we're talking about shifting from the millionaire mindset to the billionaire mindset collective. What is the billionaire mindset? It's 10xing your wealth in every area of your life. But if we're just talking about financially, we're talking about having your money make money for you. We're talking about trading your money for more time. So if you have more time on your hands and you're trading your money for more time, then that time should give you time to create more opportunities. These should put you in the position for your money to 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, 10x, 100x. So he'll never be in this position, because what he'll soon realize is that because his self-worth and because his mindset hasn't caught up, he's going to put himself in the position of being poor eventually, and put himself in the position of being poor eventually. And other people have seen that. Jay-Z has seen it. Cameron has seen it. This is why a lot of these people have distanced themselves from him, not because they don't love him, but because you see Jay-Z has changed his mindset. And because he has changed his mindset, his identity has taken or has moved at the same speed as his spending, as his net worth, as his wealth, as his marriage, as his fatherhood, etc. You saw the change within Jay-Z, his whole identity shift into, I'm not a businessman, I'm the businessman. Where's that with Dame Dash? Where's that with a lot of these celebrities and rappers and influencers that are keeping the same mindset? This is why 50 has separated himself from Lloyd Banks, because he said, I couldn't be around somebody that I was exposing all these opportunities to, but he kept staying stuck in the same old hood mindset. 50 became the business, and he's like, I need people around me that are matching that mindset with the money.
So Cam didn't expose Dame to clown him. He exposed him because sometimes the realest love is telling the truth even when it stings. Let's get into it.
Hey, listen, man, I seen that, man, and Dame's my big bro. I love Dame, man. I love that. I cook food, man. And let's see how to put this, right? You can't. So Dame, you know what's crazy? Because the interview him didn't even say my name. Dame threw my name in it. He was like Jay-Z, Kevin Hart, Kanye, Rachel Roy, Cameron. I was like, damn. I never had $100 million in one
I brought up Jay-Z and Cameron, and now it's Kevin Hart and all these other people. It's everybody else's fault when you still have the mindset and it hasn't reached the same level as, you know, the identity. If the mindset is lagging behind, or should I say the mindset is lagging behind your reality of spending and in which you're expecting out of life, you then become the victim, and it's everybody else's fault. So he starts lashing out at Kevin Hart and everybody else.
You know what I'm saying, or 200 or whatever. And Dame know this more than anybody else. You can't stop hustling. All the people Dame put on that he named, it wasn't like they got a chunk of money and stopped. Everybody kept hustling. They kept going. You did put Kevin Hart in his first movie. I was actually in that movie with Kevin Hart, Paper Soldiers. And you have to be thankful for the opportunity. But did Kevin Hart keep going on and doing a bunch of other? Yeah, he wouldn't be Kevin Hart just from being Kevin Hart from Paper Soldiers. It ain't like, you know, Kevin Hart from Paper Soldiers and be like, yeah, he owed Dame. Like the movie.
Exactly. What you saw in Kevin Hart from the beginning of doing stand-up comedy to becoming a mega movie star at this point of his career is he's had a complete identity shift. He didn't just stay little Kevin Hart. He became something much bigger than that. He became a household brand. Everybody wants him to be the person that is hosting their award ceremonies, or hosting their conferences, or, you know, or hosting their roast. Everybody wants a piece of Kevin Hart because Kevin Hart has become the person that attracts all of those opportunities and has become an attractor. His value has increased. His mindset has expanded. And as a result, Kevin Hart is a completely different person at this point of his career than when he first started, than when Dame Dash put him on. And that's what Cameron is saying right now.
It wasn't Avatar. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Blair Witch. But you did get my opportunity. I understand that. But after the opportunity, it's about keep going hustling. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just using him as one example. But when Dame put my name in it, I'm like, damn, bro. You know, me and Dame, we be going through these little speak and don't speak. But one thing for sure, I love that nigga, and I don't let niggas talk about Dame around me anyway. But, you know, sometimes me and him go through this little thing to where, so last time me and Dame spoke, he called me and he like, yo, you down with the Pat Pat Club? And I'm like, what are you talking about, Dame? Now I see you with 50. You came and padded your pockets. What's up with that? I said, pardon me. I said, it wasn't nothing. It was okay. He said, no, you can't be down with the Pat Pat Club. That's a Pat Pat. I was just laughing. I said, this nigga Dave is crazy. So he says, yo, you mind if I talk about it? Because me and 50 going through something. I said, I don't care, do whatever you want to do. So he ends up talking about it a couple weeks later, and the nigga says, yo, Cam letting niggas come up and smack him on the ass. See, it always goes too far. You didn't tell me that on the phone.
See, that energy that he's putting into hating other people. Don't speak to this person. This person's not my friend. You shouldn't be a part of this group. You know, you shouldn't partner with this person. You see Dame Dash just stuck in this identity and not wanting to break free from it for whatever reason. I have no clue why. He's seeing all these people around him take off, and instead of being happy for them, he's now become the victim, and he's become a bitter old man. And that bitter old man is biting him in the butt when it comes to his wealth.
I would not okay for you to say that niggas is coming up smacking me on the ass, because nobody's coming up smacking me on the ass. So then I was like, see, this is, what are we doing here? What are we doing? So then I'm gonna be honest with you. I had a little freestyle I shot a video for, and I was like, it's real disappointing when your OG turns Snaggletooth in the song. And I had him in the video with his situation. I said, I can't even, I love the nigga too much. I can't even put this out. I felt bad after I shot it. But he's on the internet telling niggas, what you do, this is exact words, what you do when a big strong nigga come smack you in the ass. And I'm like, yo, You violating, bro. Your internet violating, B. So I said I couldn't even put the video out. I said I'm not doing it. And so he has the movie Your Honor, not Your Honor, Honor Up, coming out on BET. So he calling niggas like,
I'm gonna speed this up a little bit.
She just got on the internet saying niggas smacking me on the cheeks, pause. I'm like, yo, I ain't posting, bro. But the thing that got me more confused is because the week before that, prior to him being on BET, he always said he don't need no major TV sponsor, nothing of this, none of that, and he do everything on his own. And niggas who go to the network, that's not him.
See, this is one of the problems. Have your own stuff. Have your own stuff, or build your own brand, build your own environment, build your own partnerships and sponsorships so that you can become council proof. And it seems like he took that to heart, and I agree with Dame Dash on that. Like, yo, you don't got to partner with this person. You don't got to get the sponsorship. You know, we can do this on our own. I agree with that mentality. What I don't agree with is not understanding and recognizing opportunities that are going to further him ahead and put him in a situation to further insulate and create an environment where he is council proof, where he is able to continue making money. It seems like he's using the old tactics of, let me put this record out, let me do this and let me do that. Nobody's really listening to Dame Dash. He hasn't caught up with the masses. He hasn't caught up with today yet. And he hasn't caught up with his mindset, hasn't caught up with his spending and who he thinks that he needs to be. You know, again, like Cameron was saying, spending like a billionaire with a millionaire mindset is a recipe for a disaster. And we're seeing this right now.
Independent. I'm independent, this, that, and third. Now you calling it about post BET. It goes against what you talking about for me. And I know he'll have an answer to this when he talks. Well, this is a particular so-and-so. You know, Dame is very smart and has a high vocabulary, so I use the words to confuse you. You know, Dame told me what the word fiduciary means, but y'all probably don't even know what fiduciary means. But Dame is very articulate, very smart. But I don't care. You're independent or you're not. That's the point. Back to the him not having money thing. He shouldn't have to work for anything. Look, yeah, my bad. But like with Dame, I would love to do the things Dame did. Fly private for 5 years straight. Buy 2 mansions in London. You got a mansion in London just for your niggas, and then a personal mansion in London for something else, or renting them or whatever. You just got mansions in London. We not even from London. We just going to fucking London, hanging out, not saying nothing. My artists, or really, you know, more Jim and Jewels, but we was all Dipset, SAS. Just out in London spending money. I would love to have 2 lofts in Tribeca right around the corner for each other. 20,000 for this loft, 20,000 for that loft around the corner. So you got $40,000 a month for just lofts. Airfare, flying everywhere. You know, Dame, I would have loved to have the biggest mansion in Alpine, New Jersey. Dame is the only nigga that I ever seen to this day. I'm talking about to this day, and I've been in a lot of places, and like I said, maybe I haven't been in the right places. I've never seen a nigga with a urinal in their house yet. Dame is the only nigga I see where you go to his house, and he got the stand-up shit in the men's room. He got a urinal in his house, in the movie room, a urinal. You go to Dame's house, he got a crib in Malibu. Yo, you know these walls are made out of museum walls, right? Just the same shit they use in the museum. This ain't regular house walls. They make museums out. This is museum walls and shit. Bro, if you live like that, you gotta keep hustling. You can't buy all that shit you want.
So Cameron keeps using the word hustling. What he's really saying is, if you're gonna live like that, you have to increase your value. In order for you to hustle and to bring something back in from that hustle, you need to be providing value to other people. So one of the biggest things that I teach in the Billionaire Mindset Collective and in my courses and my coaching is I teach value creation. How do we as men and elite men continue to increase our value? Value could be different in different situations. You know, if you're on an island stuck by yourself with, 10 other people and you're stranded for years, $100 million is not going to get you anything. So you don't have any value if you're the richest man financially. But the person that is going to be valuable is the person that can start their own fire, can hunt, can build their own shelter and protect the small community versus, against danger. That person then becomes the king, the most valuable person on the island. So how do you continue to create value for other people other than yourself? It seems like what Dame Dash did is he started creating value for himself. And now he feels entitled that, hey, because I created so much value in the past, this should still be kicking in dividends now in the future. And I don't need to create value anymore. I am him. That's his problem. His identity has remained stagnant. His mindset has remained stagnant. His value has remained stagnant. And so has his money.
Somebody name half of it. You can't buy all that shit and spend all that money and then be like, I shouldn't have to work anymore. I ain't have half the shit I just named. I ain't have no 2 lofts in Soho. I ain't have no 2 mansions in London. I ain't fly private every day for 6, 7, 8, 9 years. I ain't have no damn urinal. This all the shit you was spending your money on. I'm just good budgeting money, thank God. And thank God I keep coming up with different hustles to do this. Now, did they give me my opportunity to get back on my feet? Absolutely. Absolutely. I may not be here if it wasn't for Dave, but not because of the initial favor he did for me. He signed me to Rockefeller, and I took off and I kept doing other things and other things.
Hear what he just said. I signed, he gave me the opportunity, and my mindset took off. He didn't say mindset, but he said I took off. I hustled, I took off. What does that mean? His mindset expanded. His identity kept changing. This Cameron that used to rap and doing all the things that he was doing before was popular, but that's not what he's doing anymore, expecting to provide the same value to people. Now he's podcasting, now he's doing things like this. Now he's putting himself out, in the airwaves and giving his opinion and, and becoming an influencer, a thought leader. That for his audience, not particularly for me, but for his audience, is valuable. He's increasing his value. He's making sure that his net worth is in line with his mindset.
I'm not eating off the Rockefeller money no more. Thirdly, and Dave would testify, when I was getting it and I signed today, I would take you in briefcases of money. Briefcases like the mob, nigga. Like, you show up with your man a briefcase and get a nigga briefcase, open it, money in it. Couple times, I brought Dame briefcases of money when I first started getting real money at Rockefeller. So when you be like, niggas don't do this and that, no, bro, how long niggas supposed to do? You cannot just stop hustling and be like, the niggas who up you.
You cannot just stop your mindset. You cannot just stop expanding and optimizing and 10xing your identity, is what he's saying.
You just be like, I shouldn't have to work no more. They know this better than anybody. Until you hit that hustle, that one lick, you got to keep hustling. And the thing about it is, me personally, Dame lives at a higher astrology, if that's the right word I'm using, than the rest of us. I said, even the best house I live in, me and Dame got to an argument one time. I said, yo, we going back and forth about some shit. Oh yeah, it's about Kanye house. He said, yeah. Me and this nigga going back and forth. He's like, yeah, I just left Kanye house. He got horse shit. You got dog shit in your house. I'm like, I'm like, okay, what's this about? Yeah, I'm just saying, you ain't getting it like that. I'm like, dang, where are we going with this? He's like, I'm just saying, nigga, it took me 35 minutes from the driveway to get up to his house. I said, oh, dang, all right, no problem. He said, you live in a little house. I said, Dave, never been to all my houses. I said, my crib, at that time I had a crib. In Florida. I won't say what part or whatever. I said, Dave, my crib in Florida is 9,000 square feet. Oh, that's still little. That's a little house. 9,000 square? Okay. We going back and forth. Now we in a full-fledged argument. Fuck out of here. You ain't doing this.
Here's another point that I want to make, that where I feel like Dame Dash is stuck. He's stuck in being more impressive than impactful. So rich people are really into and really aligned with spending because they want to be impressive. I went to this, I did this, I look like that. Wealthy people, or people with a wealthy mindset or a billionaire mindset, are more concerned with being impactful. They don't care about the clothes of this and that, I know this person, I have this much money. They care about being impactful. This is clearly where Dame Dash is in his mindset. He's got a millionaire mindset where he's spending and he's trying to be impressive. Where Cameron is like, listen, we came in like that, but you could be more impactful now. I have a 9,000 square feet house. That's all I need. I don't need to be more impressive than that. I'm good with that within myself. What else is there to you other than who's got the biggest hot house and who's got the biggest yacht? So impressive versus impactful is a clear way to understand and see where your mentality is in that moment. That is something that I continually use with strategic psychological reprogramming, because it is a psychology of moving away from being impressive and feeling validated to providing value and being impactful.
I said, Dave, I own all my houses. You don't own any of your houses. He said, yeah. Who want to own a house in recession? I said, that's the time to own them. I lose the argument every time. The best way to beat Dame is going to text. You're not going to beat him verbally. So, but to answer your question, I love Dame. That's my bro. And whatever I can do for him, I absolutely will. But all this shit, you shouldn't have to work no more. And then the nigga wasn't even thinking about me. Throw my name in it. It's kind of crazy. But you spend crazy. You spend crazy. And you talk crazy to people, too. I'm just a nigga who knows you, so I can tolerate some of your verbal abuse, even though you don't consider it verbal abuse. Yo, no. Yo, imagine you just walking in and said, yo, watch your shoulders, because that's museum wall right there. That ain't apartment wall or sheetrock wall or whatever wall. Nigga says museum wall. I tell Dame talks crazy. Last thing, and I'm just saying, it's his spending. Dame would be set for life if he knew how to manage his money. He made more than enough money not to work no more. But
if he knew how to manage his money. These are all good points. If he knew how to manage his money, he's talking crazy to people. And what is that telling you? His identity is not in alignment with who he thinks that he is or where he wants to be with that billionaire mindset. And here's the most important thing about identity. When we talk about identity and transforming your identity and reprogramming your identity, the reason why it's so important is life becomes easy. You're in easy mode. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions and your decisions are all in alignment with that higher level of identity, with that billionaire mindset. His actions are that of a child. His emotions are that of a teenager, and his thoughts are that of someone who's making six figures, barely a millionaire. So he's not at the same, he might be at the same level because of his name, but he's not at the same level mentally in his identity, even when it comes to Cameron, Jay-Z, Kevin Hart, all these people who want to continue to max out their full human potential. This guy is stagnant. And it's sad to see, because I really like Dame Dash and I grew up on Dame Dash.
He want to keep hustling, and I dig it. It's in him, pause. That's just something he want to do. But when it's not working out, you can't get mad over people. I tell people all the time, Dame is like Dr. Brown from Back to the Future. Because people say Dame is crazy. God bless the dead. Irv Gotti came to my crib one time and he said, yo, man, you're the only one who can talk to Dame, bro. You know what you should do? Have a talk with him. He said, because when he's up and he's acting crazy, but he's not acting, he looks like a genius. But when he's down and he's talking like this, he looks crazy. You should have a talk with him. And I tell Irv Gotti, I say, yo, the problem with this, it's not a problem, but this is Dame. He's Dr. Brown from Back to the Future. And what I mean when I say that is that, you know a nigga who be telling you, I got a time machine. I got a time machine. You be like, this nigga's crazy. But he fuck around and have a time machine.
At the end of the day, this ain't about tearing Dame Dash down. It's about...
That was a good point too. He... At his highest, he's like a genius, but at his lowest, he's completely dumb and stupid in the way that he acts. And if you've ever read this book, The Upper Limit, I forget who the person who wrote it, but it's called The Upper Limit Effect. And what they were basically saying is you have an average frequency and you have a set point of where you're at. Let's say you're at a 70, but sometimes you're going to hit 100 and sometimes you're going to hit 50 or 40. But you're always going to come back down to that average. So when you're at 70 and you're moving into 80 and 90 and things are just flowing and you hit 100 because everything's just working for you, or you're at genius level, automatically you will self-sabotage in order for you to go back to 70. And that's exactly what he's saying right now. He's a genius when he's at 100, but then he just does other things to go back to 70, go back to 40, go back to 50. And really, what I'm teaching people is, how do you increase your set point from 70 to 75 to 80 so that drop isn't as far down? And how do you break past that upper limit of 100? So now we're getting to 150, 200, and 300. So now your complete set point and your bottom increases and your top becomes exponential and unlimited. And that's something that also Dr. I think it's Ben Sullivan or Dan Sullivan teaches with 10x. 10x is better than 2x. Dr. Benjamin Hardy, he co-wrote that with Dan Sullivan, and he talks about increasing your ceiling so that it's unlimited, but also increasing your bottom so that when you fall back down and you come back to that set point, it keeps getting higher and higher and higher.
Calling out the real. Cameron didn't get on the mic to disrespect Dame. He spoke like a little brother who watched his big bro go from the top of the world to trying to figure it all out again. And that's real life. Dame did give Cam a shot. But what Cam is saying is, don't confuse making money with keeping money. Because while Dame Dash was living like a king, the castle wasn't built to last forever. You can't fly private, buy $1 million homes, stack urinals in your...
The castle wasn't... So I'm just going to end on this because he's pretty much saying the same thing. But I'm going to end on that note. The castle, even though he made money, the castle wasn't built to last forever. With rich people, they're spending. With rich people with a rich mentality, you're just spending. So your castle is not forever. It's just for show. It's rented. But when you develop that wealthy-minded mentality, that billionaire mindset, this is when you're creating a legacy, generational wealth that lasts forever. So it's showing with his mindset right now that he hasn't made that leap, and it's really sad. And he's someone who I would love to meet, somebody who I would love to work with. And it would be an easy, strategic psychological reprogramming for me to really work with him on his identity. But it doesn't seem that he wants to help. They always say, wealthy or rich people don't see their problems, so they don't make any changes. They don't see their blind spots. And poor people know all of their blind spots, but they don't make any changes because they feel like they can't afford it or there's nothing that they can do. So nobody's making any changes, and Dame Dash is not making any changes, and it's really sad to see. Okay, YouTube, there is my reaction to Cameron criticizing Dame Dash's spending habits. What do you think? Should he join the Billionaire Mindset Collective? Should he join my executive mindset school so he can learn how to match his spending habits with his mindset? Do you think there's a gap between his mindset and his identity with his spending habits? Or should we just leave Dame Dash alone? Is he doing just fine all by himself? Let me know below in the comments. Let's have a conversation. And until next time, I'll see you on the next reaction.